Today's topic is the power of sexual spontaneity. That means to be spontaneous, surprising, out of nowhere. Why it's absolutely crucial to be sexually spontaneous in a lifelong relationship. Remember, it's your entire life together. For crying out loud, you better be surprising. Otherwise, it's going to be a pretty boring life, and we don't want that. Not just with sexual activities, though, but also developing a powerful, highly erotic, sensual mindset. That's required in a soulmate relationship. Absolutely required. That's passion we're talking about, people. If you don't have the right mindset, the right attitude, it's all downhill or a rocky road at best. And nobody wants a rocky road or going downhill. I would certainly hope not. Humans are literally creatures of sex. That means sex is 100% natural. There's no arguing against this fact. It also means that sex is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. If you have solo sex or sex with a partner, either way, it's all about pleasure and spiritual fulfillment. Now, preferably you want to have sex with a partner, so you better get on that if you're living all alone, because there's no such thing as a happy person living all alone. There's a lot of people living in denial right now as I speak, trying desperately to convince themselves that living all alone is la vida loca. It's the happiest life. No, it's not. I hate to break it to you. You need to find somebody to love with all of your heart and soul. As I always say, that's the only key to happiness. You can't be happy all alone in this life. Sorry to break it to you. There's no one half of the heart. There's always two halves. Let the extremists and other people who choose to live in constant fear miss out on the many beautiful pleasures of sex. Without powerful, passionate sex, a couple will be nothing more than a mediocre, meaningless, failing relationship. Having passionate sex is what I call the fountain of youth. Because when a couple successfully establishes deep, physical and emotional, sexual and sensual connections, there is nothing that can ever separate them. It's what I call the key to eternal love. Now, if you're quick to deny this or say no, you need to go into the corner. You need to go in timeout. You really need to contemplate. You need to think about what you're denying here. Because if you're quick to deny any of this, that sex is by far the most important thing in this world in order to unite two people as one. It's the only way. Now, it doesn't mean that a relationship is solely about sex. It just means that it's a requirement. It's like top 3 requirements in any relationship that is serious. Now, if you want a companion, go get a dog or a cat or a hamster or an ant farm. Go be boring and mediocre and have a meaningless life. I don't want that for you. But if you're saying no to sex and the meaning of sex and the fulfillment that it will bring, if you actually approach it with a powerful, erotic, sensual mindset, then unfortunately I can't help you out. None of the relationships will ever work for you. So let's go ahead and dive right into it, shall we? Why this is so important to be spontaneous. Not just regular vanilla missionary style sex. We're not talking about that here. We're going above and beyond. So take my advice. Here are typical problems with too many couples today, unfortunately. Oh my goodness, it's 2024. This is a list of everything that they lack in order to create and maintain a successful lifelong relationship. This is precisely why I don't promote the idea of dating, otherwise known as pretending to be someone you're not. Without surprising, spontaneous sex, mediocrity can easily begin to take over a relationship. If you have no desire to have sudden, sweaty, dirty, naughty sex, that's right, with your partner, then you are simply not in love. The same applies to your partner if they fail to do the same. It's all about attitude, people. Passion. Without passionate kissing and embracing each other. Yes, that includes spooning. I don't know why people are so shy. It's just backwards hugging. I don't get it. They want to be Disney and they never want to get into the rated X. That's not really rated X. That's like beginner 101 stuff right there. As if today was the last day of your lives, you guys should be embracing and kissing each other every single day. Because without that, there will be no magic and no possibility to succeed together as one for an entire lifetime. Passion requires maturity, a positive attitude, and relentless dedication. So if you're not kissing enough, you're not hugging enough, not having enough sex, I'd say once or twice a day, the maximum. Because, you got to recover from this stuff. So if you're younger, I get it, but you're not impressing anybody. The quality of sex should be once or twice. That's how powerful those sessions should be. You're making love. You're not just having sex like some scientific experiment. You're creating love. You're strengthening the physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual bond between both of you. If you just see sex as sex, wow, my goodness, you are missing the whole point of a relationship. It's a connection. It's more powerful than a kiss or a hug, but you still need to kiss and hug. So, no spontaneous sex, it's not exciting. You don't have to have sex in an elevator or publicly. That's not a good idea for obvious reasons. But around the house, yes, this is where the stories of, obviously I have the experience and I hope you do too. In the laundry room, in the garage, outside, and whatever. The backyard, camping or whatever it is. Not being each other's fantasy. You better be each other's fantasy. You have to lay all your cards on the table. Whatever your fetish is. Because, trust me, if you think you don't have a fetish, that's the wrong answer. You don't know yourself. Know thyself. That includes the sexual and the sensual. Sensual is all about feeling. Do you like to be touched? How do you like to be touched? What kind of words do you like to hear from your partner? What do you want to hear them say? It's not about monkey see, monkey do. Let me just go through the act and the movements. No. They have to feel it just as much as you do. So that's the learning process. That's the synchronization process in the sexual and sensual realm of love. You guys have to work with each other and feel each other. It's not just about talking and thinking. That's just, that's getting to know each other and each other's gustos. Yes, that's the way we communicate. But you have to communicate via the body. So it's body language we're discussing here. And that's the basis of what sex is all about. Can you communicate your love deeply and passionately? So much emotion that you can feel each other on a soul level. That's why we say soulmates. The mating of the souls. It's much more than just flesh and words and thoughts. And even feelings. It's a deep feeling, if anything. But it's supposed to be this out-of-body experience for crying out loud. And if you think that's an exaggeration, you have no idea. That's just the beginning of the enormous eternal power of love itself. Love is everything from rated G to rated X. So if you're shy or scared of any of it, you will lose. You'll fail. Sorry to break it down to you. And I don't want that for you. So let's continue and go on, shall we? All right. It's time to get passionately specific here. This is a general checklist of what should be happening in your relationship. If none of these, or only a few of these, are going on in your intimate life, then it's time to step it up. A perfect couple requires both partners to be sexual masters. If you don't know what the word master means, you have a lot to work on. Both of you, by the way. It can't just be a Don Juan or some, Both of you have to be masters when it comes to the bed. Oral sex is a must, even if someone says it's not that important. They are lying. They are 100% living in denial. Anybody who doesn't like oral sex, you have problems. You need to work on that. Because they're mediocre. And for women, oral sex includes swallowing. Sorry to tell you. To prove that you love and worship your man on a deep, primal level of love. I even write about this in my book. No silly excuses either. In love, it's all or nothing. So if your guy says, no, it's not required, I don't really care, then your guy has some issues. Because I'll tell you what, it's not just swallowing, it's a lot deeper than that. And if you can't see it, if you can't think about it, you got problems. I can feel free to discuss it with me if you want. But I highly advise you actually read my book for much more on that. Even facials are also not an option. The dirtier the sex, the better. What did you think I was going to talk about? You don't become soulmates by having missionary sex, people. Plenty of tongue kissing should also be happening, with sessions lasting at least 5 to 10 minutes. Yes, pure tongue kissing. Get lost in each other's arms, for crying out loud, or even longer, depending on how in love you really are with your partner. There also needs to be lots of dirty talking. The dirtier the better. Let me tell you something. You know, the audio, it's auditory in nature, sensual, the senses, your sense of hearing those magical words. It doesn't have to be whispered in your ear. What do you want to hear from your partner? What really turns you on? Because I'll tell you what, I just said that the fountain of youth is being highly sexual and sensual, always erotic. That means to arouse the senses, right? So, I mean, if you're sitting there like, well, I think that's a little too extreme. No, I'm not into that. It's not going to work out for you. I mean, you'll never attain a soulmate status. The sexual is all cards on the table. If you're too shy to discuss it, why are you even trying? So yes, this includes oral sex, even anal sex. Hey, whatever your fetish is. Hand jobs, that's mutual masturbation or one, that's pretty self-explanatory. Lap dancing. Why do you think guys go to the strip club? I never even been to a strip club. I wouldn't want to either. I thought it was a little goofy. And plus, I mean, I found my soulmate very early on, so I never had to go to one. But, I understand men who go to strip clubs, the lap dances are optional, yada, yada. But, lap dancing from your partner is like 100 times better than that could ever be. Some stranger dancing on your lap. When you have that established connection with your partner, yeah, why not? Get a little crazy. You ever heard that song by, I believe his name is Seal, We're Never Gonna Survive Unless We Get a Little Crazy? That's true. And crazy means out of the normal, but it doesn't mean insane. You're completely sane. You have your sanity. But, crazy is just, that's what passion is all about. You have to think outside of the box. You have to get outside the box. You're too formal. You're too mediocre if you don't want any of this. So yeah, I put there swallowing and facials. There's a reason why it's in pornography. Hint, hint. Why do you think it's one of the many categories? And, if you're against pornography, you also have problems you need to work on. That's psychological and emotional. Because when it comes to sex, nobody needed to create pornography. I mean, you just need to talk about it to know what your gustos are. Your fetishes, your likes, your dislikes, if there are any, which I encourage not many. Because you should be open to almost anything, unless you just don't feel comfortable at all. But I still advise working on it, because pleasure is pleasure. As long as it's nothing abusive, obviously. I'm not ever going to promote that. So tongue kissing, abstinence, obviously, having the orgasm outside of the body, to prevent pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy. It's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory. So, yeah, I actually have it on there twice. My fault. Dirty talk, fast, slow sex, genital touching and caressing. Now that one I was going to say for the end, but that's a must. I'll go over a little bit more about that in a little bit. But let's go ahead and move on, shall we? Spontaneous sex may not allow you time to clean yourself before getting down and dirty. So to prepare for the unexpected, always be prepared by rinsing your genital region. I know this is very specific, people, but think about it. Spontaneous means out of nowhere. So yeah, you gotta be ready, right? Because what if your partner is all of a sudden, oh my goodness, go ahead and go take a shower so we can, wait, what are you talking about? You're gonna kill the whole moment. Go take a shower, we can go very specific here, and to each their own, but preferably, you should kind of, sort of, on an average level, be ready for anything. As far as, okay, if there's going to be spontaneous oral sex, you don't want to be too dirty down there, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, just mind the hygiene whenever you go to the bathroom, ideally. It's not just washing your hands. You might want to brush up a little bit downstairs as well, if you know what I mean. So, but make sure, please do wash your hands thoroughly, okay, so you're good to go. Now, I'm talking about a home scenario. I'm not talking about out on a business trip or in public or in somebody else's home. I don't think that's appropriate. But, to each their own. I mean, I said get crazy, but I'm mostly talking about in the household. Got it? Or in a hotel, in your guys' own room and bathroom. You guys get the picture. We're talking about spontaneous sex. So it shouldn't be a delicate topic. I shouldn't have to be walking on eggshells here. A lot of it is self-explanatory, but without this, there's no excitement. This is one of the keys, the golden keys in a relationship, is spontaneity. It's like, surprise! What happens when you get a surprise party? Wow, you didn't see that coming. Well, that's what makes it so special. Yeah, but I'm not ready. I didn't comb my hair. It doesn't matter. I mean, we're talking about the thrill of life itself here. I mean, when you were born into this world, it just happened, right? Okay, water broke. How are you going to predict that? Yeah, it's been 9 months. I get it. But, I mean, you don't know exactly when, right? Okay, I think you guys get the picture on spontaneity. If you are too shy to talk about sex, your sex life will fail. And that means your entire relationship will eventually fail too. Without sex, there is no relationship. Without erotic, sensual, passionate, worshipping, obsessed attitudes, your relationship is guaranteed to fail. Please understand this. An erotic attitude is one that captivates your partner. Sensuality is all about maximizing and mastering your erotic and loving abilities. You have to worship your partner. I go over this in my book as well. From head to toe. If you don't feel like devouring your partner every single day, you are not in love. I hate to break it to you. If the shoe fits, get a new pair of sneakers. Every single time you look at your partner, you should think, man, they are so sexy. They always get me hot, excited, horny, if you will. All right, so sexually aroused. If you don't look at your partner and you don't feel that, I'm sorry. You guys got to work on that. You guys got a lot to work on. And yes, spontaneity is included, whether it's a spontaneous kiss out of nowhere, especially a French kiss I prefer, or a hug, or caressing each other, either upstairs, downstairs, rated G, rated X, whatever it is. Please add spontaneity to the mix. It's like eating some food without, condiments or any toppings on, you get the picture. I mean, what's a hamburger without the buns or whatever else you like on it, right? Pretty bland, pretty boring. Spontaneity just completes the realm of sexuality. Surprising. Even in public, if you guys are window shopping, give each other a random kiss. It doesn't have to be a French kiss. It could be. It used to happen a lot. Nowadays, I don't see that happen at all. It's not even a peck on the cheek. Pretty sad world we live in. Everybody's like glued to their phones nowadays. But yeah, it's all about having an erotic attitude, a sensual mindset, spontaneous surprises. Because if you don't feel this for your partner, it's a shame. I hear people say, oh, I could never imagine spending the whole day with my partner. Then you're not in love. What are you even doing together? For crying out loud. How could you even say something like that? If we didn't have to go to like slave labor jobs, I mean, what would there be? You're with your partner all day, just like the animals. They're with each other all day, 24/7 in the forest or in the highlands, right? Or in the water. All these animals and creatures, they don't have slave labor jobs to go work. I mean, I say slave labor because it's not exactly what we were born to do, but I get it. It's the world we live in. So, but I'm trying to tell you guys that naturally, this is what a relationship is all about. Naturally, from a natural perspective. That's the natural perspective of love, logically and passionately. You guys should want each other like crazy. That's what attraction means. A lot of people take the word attraction so lightly. They think, okay, we're with each other, that's it. Close the book and just let time go by. What are you talking about? That's not going to do anything. And then you guys say we were with each other 20 or 30 years. Yeah, but how exciting were those 20 or 30 years? How much can you remember? Oh, there's a few moments. That's horrible. A few moments. What a shame. Pity, pity. Sex should never feel boring or unfulfilling. Must always be fulfilling. If you place sexual activities at the bottom of your list of priorities, you are not in love. Sex is the only way, in fact, to fully connect with your partner. on a mental, emotional, and spiritual level, as I said before. That means a soul level connection. Any couple that barely has sex is not in love. Any couple that gets bored of having sex is not in love. To master the art of sex is to master the art of love itself. It's the heart of love. Everything else in a lifelong relationship is secondary. Whatever it is. Companionship, that's secondary. Doing exciting things together, like that has non-sex related, that's secondary. I mean, it's fun. It could be entertaining or whatnot or meaningful. Like, I get it. But it's all secondary. Your priority with your partner should be always sensual and sexual. So a lot of physical communication. Lust and love go hand in hand. Please understand this. They are both dependent on each other. Lust is not, as they say, oh, it's just meaningless sex. Well, without love it is. But in order for love to function, you have to have that lust part. That's why I'm explaining in this stream here that it has to be erotic and sexual. That's what lust is all about. It's what the body needs. It's not about carnal desires and all this other extremist beliefs. No. It's what the human body needs. We're literally creatures of sex. The sperm, the egg, straight out of the vagina. You guys get the picture. There's nothing wrong with this. We need sex. We need to feel. That's why we have thousands and thousands of nerve endings in the most erotic places of our body. So to caress those regions is to stimulate feeling, which feeling is life translated. It's life. Without feeling, we're robots. We're meaningless vessels. Emotion, energy and motion. That's all about nerves. That's why the sexual is more than just sex. You're stimulating the nerves. You're stimulating life itself. Whenever you find something funny, you laugh. Your nervous system is like, haha, that's very funny, right? Or when you get serious, because you're focusing that energy in order to accomplish something or to understand something, as you should be here. If you don't want your partner falling out of love with you, your mastery of sexual activities had better be through the roof. In fact, I always say that the fountain of youth is found and maintained through passionate sexual and sensual experiences. As I said before, the more love, the better. I really can't stand when somebody says that you can love somebody too much. No, that's false. Now, there could be too much sex in one day, which is not optimal. That's actually counterproductive because you're not respecting the human body and its limitations. You need to rest. You need to recuperate. That's why I said only once or twice maximum per day, preferably once, because if it's super powerful, but I understand if it's a special occasion, probably twice max. But you have to respect your body. Allow it to recuperate for the man and the woman. Okay? So, the more love, the better. It just means that even the non-sexual, that includes love. That's still love. You're caring for each other. You're loving each other. The things you say to each other. The things you do for each other. You know, the consideration, the kindness. That's why I say, you know, real love, true love is rated G to rated X. All the taboo talks to all the Disney level talks, if you will. A happy couple is a sexually happy couple. Here's a very useful tip for both partners, as I was trying to explain before. Be sure to caress each other erotically whenever possible. Yes, that means touching each other downstairs. You'll be surprised how powerful just doing that is. Now, of course, in a home surrounding, I mean, a car, I get it. But, you know, this is all about being erotic and sexual whenever you can. Whenever you can. But, of course, I can't be promoting indecent exposure or anything like that. I mean, it should be, because that's what the animals do. We don't call them having sex in the wild indecent exposure, do we? But for humans, unfortunately, it applies to us. I wouldn't mind if I saw a couple having sex in public, but, I mean, who am I to say what should and shouldn't be? Now, when it comes to love, yes, I have plenty of things to say what should and shouldn't be. But as far as making the laws for humanity, there's a lot of discussion to be had there. As long as they're not harming anybody and as long as they're as clean as possible, it happens anyways. People do have sex in public. That's been a thing since the beginning of time and man itself. I understand that. But you should have everything you could ever desire in home or in a hotel or in the car. I understand. Wherever you can. So yeah, it's all about mental, emotional, and spiritual connections. You have to stay always aroused when possible, always in love with your partner. And realize, get it through your head if you haven't already, sex is life, life is love, and love is life, and passion is the key. If you want a successful relationship, well, that's the key. Both of you must be as passionate. So if one is more passionate than the other has more to work on, right? It's not a competition. It's a synchronization process. And I actually did a stream about a month ago on that or so. So if you are watching this all alone and you're in a relationship, watch it again with your partner if you have a partner. But if you're living all alone without a partner, focus on finding precisely what you want with your next partner. Because that's what you should be doing, is finding your next potential partner. Lay it all on the table. Because sex is at the center of a happy lifelong relationship, as I said before. So, befriend somebody that you find physically attractive. That's the first step. Don't play the dating game because you're trying to rush things. See, this is why people get discouraged in the realm of love. And that's why I did a couple of streams about dating while I'm against dating for that reason. Because they're trying to skip the whole befriending process. That's crucial in order to get to know each other. In order to start to trust each other as well. With the intent, both of you have to have the proper intent on saying, okay, we're going to start as a friendship to get to know each other. We're not going to play the whole dating silly game nonsense. And let's see if we can take it to the next level if we start to like each other even more. But that intent must be disclosed. You guys have to describe that. And, it's not a common thing, unfortunately, but it does exist. Such was my case. We were friends first. We never even had one date at all. We were friends first, and then we decided, oh my goodness, it just happened spontaneously. There's that word. And then we took it to the next level. We became a couple. So I want you guys to recreate that for yourselves. Because it's the most powerful, straightforward way to find somebody. Otherwise, you're going to continue playing the silly dating game. You're going to get discouraged, and you're going to end up playing the gender war by hating all men or hating all women and being a loser forever. That's not an insult. That's a fact, because you're losing. You're missing out on everything that life could be for you. And I don't want that for you. So if you're really serious about the topic of sex, read my book, watch my 1-hour video course. It's only 1 hour, right? It's the most powerful film you ever see about love itself, and the new book of love. You can't even put the book down. Or continue watching these streams at the very minimum. But for goodness sake, start applying it to your life if you haven't already. Because time's ticking. And I don't want you to become paranoid and just find the first stranger out there to befriend them. No, be selective, be careful. It's a crazy world out there. But you guys have to start applying this in your life if you haven't already. Otherwise, why are you even here? And why torture yourself any longer? The time to do it is now. So if you're scared to talk to somebody out there, you got to dominate that one first. You got to conquer that fear. Because fear is not going to equate future happiness. Fear is like the ultimate enemy in this realm of love. You have to have no fear. So work on that mindset. I did a few streams about the power of positivity, powerful mindset, warrior's mindset. It's too easy to find. But you guys have to have that mindset first and then put it into practice. And then all these other streams about this and that, take them into consideration. Apply them in your life whenever it's time to apply them. Okay? You don't want to meet your new friend of the opposite sex today and then tomorrow say, hey, you want to take it to the next level? Now, I have nothing against it if you guys mutually feel that way. But trust me, that's moving way too fast. Even if you guys want to take it to the next level within a week or two, trust me, that's too fast. Guys, take it slower. Good things come to those who wait, right? Now, don't wait too long either. I would say at least half a year or a little bit less. Maybe, okay, I'll be a little bit merciful here. 3 to 6 months getting to know each other. 3 being the absolute fastest track of getting to know somebody. I'm saying a lot of time together, by the way. Not just a little bit of time and 3 months goes by like nothing. So that's why I advise at least 6 months, because most people don't have the time to spend with each other a lot of hours together, even on the weekends, because they might be working 2 or 3 jobs. Look, I get it. So the purpose of this stream is for those who are ready to take things to the next level. Spontaneous sex is a must. There's no question about it. If you don't incorporate this into your relationship is dying. It's suffocating. This is the air to the relationship. This is the life that you need to breathe back into it. Okay, so I'm here to inspire you, to breathe life back into you guys. So make it happen. And with that said, enjoy the weekend, everybody. Much love.